Yes, welcome to a brand new experience on Today with John and Helen, live, your go-to family lifestyle program on PlusTvAfrica, like Helen will say. As the year progresses, we are determined to fly along, still brimming with hope that every day provides us with an opportunity to become better. Like always, we remain committed to bringing you insightful conversations with some of the most professional and family-focused guests.
Absolutely, JS. And our show is just what the doctor has prescribed to keep you informed, entertained, and in sync with everyday domestic and corporate issues. And for the next 90 minutes or thereabout, we will be dissecting 3 carefully selected topics. First is the crucial matter of real estate investment and the importance of due diligence. Our first guest, Arinola Adebimpe, is a seasoned lawyer and real estate consultant, and she's available to help us navigate that turf. Next is what promises to be most engaging and compelling conversation with Tunji Lamidi, who is president of the Rotary Club of Lagos, on promoting peace through hunger and conflict prevention. And finally, today we shall give you a robust and thought-provoking dose of what we will be looking at, or term the office policy or politics in the office, with our third guest, Bisola. Bisola will join us later on as the final guest on the show today, and we provide you with all of the opportunities that you need, to think outside of the box and make the best of the time.
Yes, of course, yes. And we have a fantastic lineup indeed. But first, let's take a quick break and bring in our first guest, Arinola Adebimpe. You got that, Helen?
Arinola Adebimpe.
So stay with us. I'm Johnson, I am your host on the show. As always, I have with me H.O. Onwa.
Don't worry. When I get the Benue name, there won't be any problem at all. So I'm Onwa Helen Odele. Always a delight to be with you every Saturday. See you soon.
Yeah.
All right, this is Today with John and Helen, live on PlusTvAfrica, and we are on DSTV channel 408 and streaming live on YouTube. We're set today to start the show, and our first guest, who is a seasoned lawyer and real estate expert with nearly 21 years of experience, 15 of which have been dedicated to navigating the complexities of real estate, is right here.
Yes, Adebimpe Arinola. She earned her law degree from the Olabisi Onabanjo University and a postgraduate diploma from Pan Atlantic University. She's consulted for real estate developers, Nigerians in diaspora, cooperative societies, and private property owners. Her journey into real estate was actually shaped by 2 key experiences. First in 2006, when she discovered that even a certificate of occupancy, which is the CFO, yes, does not always guarantee a trouble-free property. And then in 2009, she personally lost, guess what, 300,000 naira.
At that time,
At that time, in a transaction, realizing that legal knowledge alone isn't enough in real estate.
And so right now, Adebimpe joins us to help us shine our eyes. If you understand, that's John's language, to shine our eyes when it comes to real estate matters. Welcome, Adebimpe. It's so good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
And your smile is so captivating. What did they happen?
And guess what? I just discovered too that Adebimpe.
She's one of yours. I know.
She's a Rotarian. She's a Rotarian, just like you.
You guys, come on, continue to rule the world.
Yes, with humanity in service.
So you're welcome, Adebimpe.
Thank
So
you so
let's dive into the matter on the table today.
Okay.
And it's one that really has bothered a lot of people, maybe out of their ignorance or when they get their fingers burnt, So let's know, could you just describe for us the pivotal moment in 2006, when you discovered that a CFO isn't proof against, it's not a guarantee in real estate. But we've always relied on C of O's.
Please, if that's the only thing you take away from me today, please take it away, that don't rely on C of O alone. So we went to school believing, they didn't actually say it in school that is the ultimate. But, you know, it's just logged in your head in a certain way because it's issued by the government. And of course, the highest authority in any country is supposed to be the government. So while that is not a lie, there are underlying factors that we didn't know. And so I got into practice as a young lawyer. We had this client, big client, who had connections and power. And someday they just brought, the original copy of the C of O was with me for like maybe 2 years.
Okay.
Yes. And they were like, oh, this is the C of O of so and so, and you need to draft an agreement within 6 parties. I think the 6 villages of the Omonile that own the land. I couldn't reconcile. How do I begin to talk to
6 people on one C of
6
O?
Omonile? And then I can see the original C of O signed by the governor. This one was not signed by commissioner. It was signed by the governor. You know, my boss didn't say more, but I kept looking at the C of O. Then we kept trying to go to the land. And then Omonile will tell us, if they burn you well,
Go there.
come here. Yes, so. And the client will say, no, go and see surveyors, so and so. Go and we actually went to see all these surveyors, but somehow, I don't know, maybe because she wasn't willing to listen. Because they were like, they kept posting us. So one day we now took bulldozer and went there. They beat everybody that showed up and impounded that bulldozer for maybe 2 weeks or something. And they said, if we burn you, if they burn you, the government was still in power. If they burn you,
Come again.
Come again.
See?
and the client was all,
And
then
it's something we all go through.
and then the client couldn't make headway. For your information, in 2012, Omonile, with their eyes wide open, took that client to court on that silver. Yes. Omonile took
I
them to court.
have had land allocated to me about 3 times, because each time I went there, I'll find fence.
Yes.
It will be fenced up and gated. Then I said, but this is my land, and they say, no, we'll give you another one.
That's it.
Then they gave it about 3 times.
If you're not ready to build,
Is it Omonile that did that or government?
It was the ballet.
No, that one is a normal thing.
that
It
one.
was the ballet.
But you know, developers too will do that, because if you buy, sometimes if you read the contract, they will tell you that allocation might change if you don't develop. So real estate companies too. It's possible.
Anyway,
You know,
Yeah, I know, but all of that is in the agreement.
yes, it's
They
in
tell
the
you
agreement.
from the moment that you
Especially those
complete
who
your
want you
payment.
to develop, those who
Yes.
want development
Yes.
on time.
Yes.
you see, I left that place. I left it because
really?
the final time, when I got the 3rd relocation,
Okay.
I just went and did 4 coaches of fencing around it, and then I called the ballet's boys, because I called them, I bought them drink, I gave them money. Do you know that before I got home, they beat my workers up,
Sure.
and in 2 weeks, one of them died.
Wow.
One of my workers died, and I just said, sorry.
You're not going there. again. Oh
There
my
was something that they were not saying.
goodness.
Because I've also worked with
Yes.
Omonile. There was something they were not saying.
So I left it. I just
So
left it.
there's this part of what we're taught in school, right? The ballet, who is the family head or the community leader, can sell by himself, but his sale can be voided. It can be declared,
Okay.
yes, irrelevant. If the family comes together and says, no, we're not carried along.
But what happens now in most of these lands that you buy from villages? The ballet signs, and the heads of the various
Absolutely.
family, yes, you all also
They are
have to
called
sign.
principal members.
Yes, they must sign.
So the law is that the principal members cannot sign. They don't have anything to transfer alone.
Okay.
But
So
the
you
ballet
have-
has something to transfer alone, but his transfer can be voided.
True. All right.
So the question is, you miss the ballet.
So you must bring everybody
Thank
on
you.
board.
You now have to do your due diligence to find out who are the other principal members.
That
must
is
be
the
carried
word,
along.
That's
due
the due
diligence.
diligence
That's the due diligence.
And then you now have to sit down and say, who is the youth leader? Because the youth leader is the head of the next generation that will cause problem.
Wahala. If you don't build on time.
Yes. So.
Yeah.
So you will see even their receipts, family receipts. You will see the ballet, you will see the treasurer, you will see the youth leader, you see secretary, small corners on that receipt.
Oh, wow.
Because they are principal members that have to buy with the ballet.
Okay, so the experience you had in 2009,
yes,
so many people have had the same experience, thinking that they wanted to invest in real estate and instead would lose a lot of money. You lost 300,000 naira in 2009. That's like how many million now?
3 million.
Wow. So what key lessons about due diligence and risk management did you learn from that experience that you would like to share with us today?
First thing is that no matter who is selling to you, ask questions. Because the person who sold to me was not dubious. He probably also had some questions he had not answered.
Yes, okay.
He was not dubious. You need to ask questions. Your questions might set a light bulb up in the mind of the seller to go back and find out some things. So where is the land? So how do you derive title? Due diligence is to confirm that the title the person is giving to you, they have the rights, they have the proper authority to transfer. And this is not just for Lagos. This is for all over the country.
Okay.
Because the family that gave to the person may feel that he spoke to all the right people. But then there are still one or two who are the most troublesome and who usually don't show up at the beginning of conversation.
Yeah, they will just keep them away because they know they are troublesome.
Yes. And those troublesome people usually have energy. Ask the right questions.
Okay, so we are going to ask the right questions. But you see, just like you're sitting here now, we've sat with several people, maybe not on the TV show, who have given us this advice, that advice. Now you are my recognizable authority
right now.
So tell us, what are the top 3 due diligence steps that you believe are essential before finalizing a property deal?
In the 21st century real estate purchase, I usually tell people that there are 3 stages. In 2009, I will have bought the property, paid, I will have done my due diligence, paid, and assumed that I own property. In today, I won't do that. I usually tell my clients, I will do 3 levels of due diligence. I will do due diligence before you start paying. I will do due diligence while you have paid or in that process of closing. There's a bit more I will do after. Reason being that, let me give you a simple example. People are selling land in Ekpe, genuinely so. But government says that they are taking over Ekpe. So what happens to those who started buying last year and they are not in touch with the news? They did that due diligence. The people selling have authority to sell. What happens halfway through the transaction?
So do you do due diligence every day?
No, not every day. So the major one is at the beginning.
Things are changing.
Let's not assume that because, see, the thing with real estate is that because real estate return on investment is guaranteed. It's not the one that you come and say, will I make profits? You don't ask those questions in real estate. That is why where the bottleneck is in ensuring that the transfer is authentic. That's what the bottleneck in real estate is.
Because if you don't own the property, there is nothing. You cannot be talking about return on investment.
You can't.
Can't claim anything.
You can't sell. You can't
so
own.
When you do due diligence on the entity selling, is the person sincere? Is the person transparent? Has the person done something like this before? Do they have results? You do due diligence on title. Sometimes there's a C of 1. Then when you go to land register, allows her to go and search, there is endorsed on it, litigation pending.
There's a lien.
Yes. Litigation pending. Or you will see a charge. Charge is even good, you can discharge it. Litigation pending, it means that the owner is not sure. And the C of 1 is registered.
Okay, so what you're telling us now, because the ordinary man like JS and I, we find an advertisement, someone is selling somewhere, they say real estate is the way to go. That's where you will make money after 1 year or 2 years, And then we don't have all of the information, number one. We don't have the professional know-how. We don't have the time. So you're telling us now that we must reach out to a real estate expert.
You had better.
Or a lawyer. I don't know.
So as a lawyer, I don't do all the work alone. I'm not a lawyer that will do surveyor's work. I will take the surveyor if I'm going to buy land. If you're going to buy a house, I have the basic idea because I've done this for God knows how long. But I will still take along a structural engineer.
Okay.
Because he went to school to read it, I didn't.
Sure.
So what he will see sitting down, if I climb the third floor, I may not sit.
So we must get an expert who has link with all of the people who are vital.
You are supposed to collapse. You are supposed to you are supposed to redeem your time by spending money. So let me do the thinking because you really cannot think through it. One more thing I have to say is that we forget, everybody, including me, sometimes forget that real estate is an investment, and every investment is a risk.
True. Wow.
Yeah.
Real estate is an investment, and every investment is a risk. No investment will give you 100% assurance on return.
Yeah.
Wow.
And every investment has high risk, medium risk, and low risk.
But when they're selling real estate, they tell you, wow, this is it.
Well, that's why
those agents, man.
That's why I am the impartial person that will tell you buy, but like somebody reached out recently and said he wants to buy. He explained. I said buy, but you know my mind for you, don't dare do land banking.
What's that one?
Land banking, where you buy and you hold on for 6 years. That is what has made Ekpe what it is. Everybody has entered Ekpe with land banking. The town is not developing. And NCDA needs to open up.
And talking about Ekpe, just last night I was saying to a friend of mine, we were coming down from Shongotedu.
Okay.
And we was looking at the volume of tankers and trailers and all of that. And I said, people will run, this place is going to turn to a papao. People will run away from this area. You know, because getting out in and out of that area in another
it's even a challenge, a big one now.
Will be a massive challenge, like you said.
This is despite the fact that road construction is going on.
It's going on. Because that place is getting so busy.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, now let's even put that aside, because I want us to look at the legal implications of you know, due diligence and all of that. So how have property laws, right, and regulatory practices, how have they evolved over the past maybe 2 decades? And what challenges do they pose for today's investors? People are turning out in numbers.
In hundreds.
I'm a real estate this, I'm a real estate consultant, I'm a that. So could you take us through it? 2 decades.
So the ground norm, like we call it, is the Land Use Act, 1978. The Land Use Act should have been reviewed maybe like 176,000 times between then and now to cater with the evolution of the space. However, like I always say, it is because statute is not sufficient to cater for real-time evolution of any issue. That is why we have courts. So the judgments of courts are a lot of times a part of the things that form the basis for what is law. So states, Lagos State for one, has really tried, even though there's still so much in front of them. Lagos State has really tried. You have LASRERA, you have Lagos Anti-Land Grabbers Task Force. There are so many regulations. There are so many regulations around the real estate space that states have tried to create. And they keep, Ogun State has prohibition of forceful taking. So many states have different regulations, more so because there's some slight differences, right, in the way the states run it. For example, some states transfer, I think in the East, they transfer title with irrevocable power of attorney. So they have slight laws that make for the difference. But you see, it's still largely deficient. It's largely deficient because there are a lot of things that, because, for example, for the laws, you go to court for real estate litigation. When you start, just know that it's your child that will finish the matter.
No way.
Wow.
The people that are doing Magodo, they started that matter in court 1982 or thereabout.
I remember.
I know. So the men that started it are dead. It's their children.
Their children.
So
if the children are interested,
and God help you.
No. And if they are not, then the land is back to the owners.
It depends on the size of the land and the location of the land. You cannot have 16,000 hectares, and your child in Australia would not be interested.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
So the laws are there, but the Land Use Act is largely deficient, and then some subsidiary laws have been made by the states, not by the central government, who I believe what we need to do is set up like a panel represented from probably the 6 geopolitical zones. Because this Omonile issue that Lagos has
everywhere.
But it started from Lagos.
Yeah.
So
it
has
it's even worse in Delta.
In fact, in the interiors, it's worse amongst the family members.
Themselves.
All right, so let's make progress in your role as both a lawyer and real estate consultant. How do you merge your legal expertise with market insights, so you can positively, guide someone who comes to you, for example, for safe investment with real estate?
So I always tell people that when you come to us and we guide you and you pay for consultation, we guide you, we do the work for you. The way it's done, it is such that next time you will lean on us less, because the job is done in stages. Okay, we go to the site and we sit and we say, this place is good because of infrastructure, because there's a road network, because there's a thriving market every 5 days in the village beside. It is good because, or it is not good because. That because is
the experience.
Yes, is what you are paying for. So next time when you want to buy, they say come on inspection. A lot of people go on site inspection. I went something for a client. The client went to the client said people will travel 5-6 hours and get there and they will just come down from their car, stand and enter the car. 5 hours drive.
That's it.
That's not how to do it. Because the entire area should be of interest to you. So when you are guided, you have an understanding of because. So if we do just the initial due diligence for you, right? By the time you have started paying and you go there, because you have been told why it was a good offer, you know what should begin to give you concern. Okay. If you see it in the area. If we're doing title, we look at title and say, okay, this is family. This family, they have right. But the issue is, this ballet is 86. So what you need to do is go and look for the next ballet coming in and make friends with him. You have that conversation. We open the conversation for you.
I'm beginning to imagine you as a successful lecturer. A successful lecturer.
I should enjoy it.
I go on site inspection. It's what I love what I do.
Okay, now I'll challenge you a bit. Give us a personal experience. A personal experience. For instance, success story where rigorous due diligence has saved your client from a potential disaster.
Too many.
Give us one interesting story.
Okay. So this client reached out. He's abroad. Oh, hello, I need you to help me do due diligence. Everything you do. You know, when they watch me on social media, they say, please, all those things you say you do, everything. Because they see me go to site. We want you to do everything. And we say, okay. So go to site. So I reached out. The person, he says he saw it on social media. And the person selling to was on social media. So he reached out and said, okay, he wants to buy. I said, okay, tell them your lawyer will reach out. He said, okay. And then we reached out and said, okay, can we see the title document? People are careful with their title. I understand from both sides because you can give somebody soft copy of your title just to verify and you will use it to sell.
Whoa.
Yes. So people are careful of their title. So we say, you know what? We don't want to have the original copy. We can come to your office to cite it. He now sends me the front cover and says, that's the agreement. I say, oh God, this is cover. This is not the agreement. I want to see the agreement. He said, okay, his boy will bring it. He now calls himself and says, you know what? No problem. I'm just telling you. I live 2 blocks away from the guy that wants to buy. I'm in America. He's in America. And so, in fact, I work here. I do this. I do that. And there was no way. At the end of the day, first he said that his boy will bring it. Then he said we should come and see the documents. Then he came back and said, you know what? I'm not selling again.
Okay.
Then we said, okay, let us go and see. He said, the person to take us there is busy. I said, okay, I'll come and meet him. I'll come with a car. Then he said that the person will come with his car, but he's going to work. I said, okay, I will do Sunday if he wants. Okay, you two, you are beginning to laugh. You are beginning to,
yes.
You know. So for everything I ask,
the story changes.
And I get a query, I tell the client. For everything I ask, I get a query. And then the client now said, am I sure I want to buy this? I said, okay. Oh. You see it yourself. So the client really loved the property. He came to Nigeria himself. Went there. He didn't tell me. Went there. Then came back to say, madam, thank you. You know, when I got there, I found out that property, he had used it to borrow money. That money, he used to travel. He now wanted to sell the property without the person who gave him the loan. Knowing.
Wow. Wow. You see this real estate and property thing, there are different levels, like you said. You small, big one.
Which is the reason I wanted the story.
And the conversation really cannot end, you know. There's so much that people need to learn. Because a lot of people are getting their fingers burnt on a daily basis.
And each story you hear is a bestseller. Really.
And eventually we all want to own our own houses somehow and make the additional money.
But let us not imagine that because there are issues there. You know, the reason why I've stayed in the space this long is because I have spoken to a lot of fathers. Some people who were investors, who were property owners in the 80s and early 90s. They also had a lot of challenges.
Okay.
Yes, one of the biggest names in the 80s. He has one property in Apapa. He said we should go and help him handle. Why? Because he bought the property and went back 6 years later. and Festac boys had taken over. And he fought for that property for 20 years. And he's one of the big names today. There's a property in Apapa. The woman that bought it, she took all her cooperative money, then borrowed money to buy it. Then she buys and hears that she bought from the wrong people. I'm talking of in the 80s.
Okay.
And then she repaid to the second people. Then she hears that, CEO, some people have taken them to court. That's the second people. And they now said that if she wants to be secured, she should come and pay the other side. Because if the other side wins, the price of property is going to like triple.
Jesus.
So she paid the other side. So she paid 3 times. You see, the cost of that property today and everything she paid is like child's play. So I tell people, Nigerian property place is actually volatile. But when you make one good deal, it wipes out all your losses.
Okay, well, that one good deal. All right, so as a way of winding up this conversation, you've said so many things. So this is a positive. That real estate is the way to go.
Oh, yes, it still is.
Investment. So what are the things that a first-timer must not do?
So first-timers usually buy property from people close to them that they know. And so they evade the question asking process.
Okay.
The person that you know that you buy from is the worst person to buy from because you can't raise a query if your money goes down the drain.
Okay.
So buy from somebody you don't know so that there's an energy to go through the due diligence process.
Okay.
Ask your questions. Be ready to take your risks.
Which is better, buying from known developers or buying from owners of the land?
Each is a different kettle of fish. Because I've dealt with sincere money that we bought. We say, they say, okay, it's our village. But we've sold, went to the village. We've sold. This guy, I know him, is my friend. Don't mind, he's a foolish boy, don't buy from him. This person, I'm managing for him. I'm managing for him. If you want to buy this, buy that, buy that. And they sold. And then we call back and said, yes. And then they call back and people liked it. And they said, oh, help us ask them. They say, I'm called. And Baba said, in our village, we've sold to second, sold to third. Right now, we don't want to get involved with third because of their issues. So except the land we are living in, we don't have land in our village again. Omonile. We'll help you ask in the next village if they have, and we'll give you somebody to go with him, but you will settle him.
Can you imagine?
Omonile.
Yes.
They can't give you where they and they are suggesting somewhere else.
Yes.
They'll make it work.
Yes, and you settle the person that works with you. So there are good people in every space.
Okay.
Right.
We hate to end this conversation.
We'll continue some other time.
So Adebimpe, for your deep insight into this intricate issue of due diligence, when it comes to real investment, we really must thank you. Certainly, this is an eye-opener 101 for us.
Absolutely, I'm glad.
And we sincerely hope to have you again on the show to continue this discussion.
And I'm so excited because I have a private consultant in her right now.
I think this topic is really for people like Helen because she has her hands.
It's for all of us, Nico. It's for all of us.
Thank you for having me.
So much. Thank you. As Martin Luther Jr. wisely said, as we're moving to the next guest, he's talking about peace. And peace of mind is everything. When you get your hand burnt or you get, muddled up in this Omonile or developers issue, peace of mind is evaded.
True.
Thank you so much for your time.
The pleasure is
mine.
God
bless you.
Amen.
All right. So Martin Luther was who said, peace is not merely a distant goal that we seek, but the means by which we arrive at that goal. And so with that powerful thought in mind, we shall quickly take another break. When we return, we will be joined by Rotarian Tunji Lamidi. And together with you out there, it will be all about forging peace through proactive measures. So please join us again.